Hi, and welcome to another episode of The Lamp in the Library. I'm Graeme.
I'm Kim.
This is Cooper. And we're going to talk about our favorite time of the year, Spooktober, and what we're reading. And we're also going to look at a couple of books that we have both read and recommend that you read. So I spoke about this book in a previous video, but I just finished it. It's called Flyaway by Kathleen Jennings. It's about the influence of storytelling and folklore on a very gothic rural Australia. Perfect for Spooktober. I highly recommend getting lost in this book. I'm going to pass it to Kim, who's going to read it next.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. And then I'm recommending to Graeme and to anyone watching Piranesi, the new book by Susanna Clarke, who most are familiar with through her first novel, Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I devoured this book, devoured it. I just cannot recommend it enough, but I don't really want to say too much about it because a lot of its power comes from allowing the book to reveal itself and its secrets to you as you read it. And I'm really looking forward to Graeme reading it so then we can discuss it more in depth. But just in case you are on the fence or hadn't got a copy yet, or maybe go put a hold on at your library, Piranesi, you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, I think it goes for both of these books. Seemingly it's that the less you know going in, kind of the better. So it's kind of fun to just take a recommendation from someone, go in blind, and see what you get. So yeah. Looking forward to it. I'm very much looking forward to reading for Spooktober. It's called The Monk. And this book is from 1796, written by a member of Parliament, no less, called Matthew Lewis. This book apparently set the template for Gothic horror fiction going forward. It is described as shocking, erotic, and violent, and is apparently incredibly trashy. So very much looking forward to reading The Monk.
Yes, I'm going to be reading it as well, and I'm looking forward to, from what I understand, it has a bit of a wink to itself that it knows it's being kind of trashy at parts, and I'm really excited to get involved in it, and then maybe we can discuss later what we thought of it and things that we've encountered that were published or made after this book that had definitely been influenced by it.
This is going to be a fun one.
I'm going to be reading The Memory Police, and I'm really excited to read this by Yoko Ogawa. And I talked about her book, The Housekeeper and the Professor, which I really loved, and then wanted to read something else of hers. And this book's been getting a lot of attention on Instagram and BookTube because a lot of people are really loving it. So I'm excited to get into it. And how it fits into Spooktober is it's a dystopian fiction tale of a community that has its memory of specific objects erased, and then those things just don't exist anymore. And in this novel, the main character, her editor can't not remember things that are supposed to not exist anymore. So then the memory police are going after him, and she wants to help him. So I think this will be, I think the concept is very interesting. I'm imagining it has a lot of meditations upon what memory means for an individual and also what memory means as a collective for a community. And since we are definitely facing a lot of dystopic realities at the moment in our world, I think it might be good to just lean into it and get into this one. I just started it, so.
Nice. This one's a stretch, but I'm a librarian, so I'm also reading this book called Tech for All. It's a compilation of different essays, but it's edited by Lauren Comito, and it's going to be dwelling on the horrors of the digital divide and how to overcome them. Okay, it doesn't quite fit, but this is what I'm reading, so I'm sharing it.
And it's helping you fight the good fight.
That's right.
So the next book that I'm sharing is also a nonfiction work, and it is Owls of the Eastern Ice, and I'm very excited to read this. And while it also isn't necessarily a spooky book, although it is because it's about climate change and the devastation to animal species. And it's specifically looking at a specific type of owl that lives in Russia. And this author's quest to protect it, to save it, to make sure it doesn't go extinct. And I thought, owls, they're very much associated with October and Halloween, so it'd be a good time to read it. I learned about the book because Helen MacDonald spoke very highly of it, who is the author of H is for Hawk and Vesper Flights. And if you've watched any of our previous videos, you probably know, big fan of her work. So that's why I picked it up. But then also, I saw the author's photo, and I was really sold by the owl, this giant owl. And I really was like, yeah, I want to learn more about this owl, its life, its habitat, and what's being done to help protect it. So again, Owls of the Eastern Ice.
Nothing better than a gothy author photo.
Yeah, I think more authors should embrace that, actually.
Yeah.
It's better than the earnest one.
I agree.
Lastly, I have a book that I'm pretty sure I'm not going to make it all the way through it, but I'm really excited to just read it at bits and parts. And it's the Virago Book of Witches, and it's just so beautifully illustrated. I love the cover art, but it's a collection of stories and tales from around the world that have to do with witches or witch-like characters. So I'm really excited to just sort of slowly go through it. I don't necessarily want to read it really quick. I just want to take in each tale on its own. And I was thinking that maybe I could read one to Graeme on Halloween.
Nice. And I will probably be digging out my dog-eared copy of the collected works of Edgar Allan Poe, if only to do a dramatic reading of The Raven or Annabel Lee. It's a tradition, and you got to do it. It would be a Poe Halloween indeed if you didn't do that. So it has to be done.
So thanks so much for tuning in to The Lamp in the Library. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel down below and hitting the bell notification so you'll always know when there's new videos. Just to give you a little heads up, next week we will be back, but we'll actually be talking about movies next week, and we will both share, without telling each other beforehand, what our top 3 classic monster movies are, to share the recommendations with you and just to get a little more insight into each other and who our favorite monsters are.
Wishing you the greatest and spookiest of Spooktobers. Thanks for watching. Keep well.
And keep reading. Bye.